Hey there, good morning. So I want to talk a little bit today about the idea of choice versus inspiration, motivation, discipline, willpower, all of that whole concept. Because something that I hear a lot is, and especially I've heard it more lately because I've been talking a lot about the power of the morning and how pivotal the morning hours are, especially for women, and how getting up early and really getting movement in your day right away sets the tone for your day. So I've been talking about that a lot. So of course, then I get a lot of, well, I could never do that, or I don't have the motivation to do that, or how do you stay so motivated? I don't have the willpower to do that. And what I want to say to you today, and what I want you to really think on and embrace and get in your head, because this is something that I believe can be life-changing. Not to be dramatic, but I think it can. This has nothing to do with motivation or inspiration or willpower. When we start attaching those words to our actions, I think we start attaching too much emotion. We make stuff deeper than it is. And then we allow ourselves this space to create excuses and reasons why we can't do it. The minute we start saying stuff like, well, I just don't have the motivation to do that, or I don't have enough willpower, now it becomes whatever it is that we're talking about, this sort of emotional place. And that emotional place gives us permission in our mind to make it harder than it really is. There's a reason why this person can create success. This person can get up earlier. This person, because they just must have more motivation or inspiration. And none of that is true. What we need to understand, and what I truly believe can be life-changing, is that it has nothing to do with motivation or inspiration or willpower or discipline or any of that. Getting up early, creating a business, building a business, making better food choices, intentionally working on being a better parent, being a better spouse, creating the life that you want to create has nothing to do with motivation, discipline, inspiration, all of that. It has everything to do with choice. And if you've followed me at all, you've probably seen me talk about that, because I think it's such a misnomer to say that getting up at 5 a.m., and I'm going to use that a lot because that's what I talk about a lot, that power of the morning. Getting up at 5 a.m. is motivation or discipline. No, I am not motivated when I get up at 5 a.m. I do get up and I'm glad that I'm up, but I'm not motivated to get up at 5 a.m. I don't have any more willpower than anybody else or any more discipline. I've simply made the choice the night before to set my alarm for 5 a.m. I've already set out my workout clothes. I already know what program I'm doing. I already know that I'm going to be drinking Energize. I already know these pieces that are going to happen in the morning because they're choices that I've made. So I'm not attaching any emotion to getting up at 5 a.m. It has nothing to do with inspiration or willpower or the lack thereof. I've just made a choice. And when you really think about actions and habits in terms of it being a choice, it removes so much emotion out of it. I sort of equate it to a heart rate monitor. When I first started teaching, I didn't use a heart rate monitor. Then I worked at a gym that really embraced the concept of using the heart rate monitor and talking about the heart rate monitor when they taught. And so I did the heart rate monitor test pretty frequently, and I got that data. The beautiful part about a heart rate monitor and a heart rate monitor testing, not just using predetermined numbers that are in a heart rate monitor, but actually getting the testing, having your numbers in your heart rate monitor. The beautiful part about that is it's now data. There is no, well, I am working out really hard. I am. Just look at your watch. It'll tell you if you're actually working out really hard. There's no more emotion attached to the data. It's just information, so that at the end of your workout, if you didn't burn the calories that you thought you should burn, if you didn't get in the zones you thought you should get into, it's not an emotional situation. It's not willpower or discipline. It's just, well, I just didn't work hard enough. So it's data. And I think that's what choice is. Choice is not an emotional situation. It's just a choice. And when we string together a lot of intentional choices, we get to create this life that we want to create. We're actually living life on purpose. And there's so much stress involved and so much negative energy around this idea of being motivated or being inspired or having self-discipline. All it does is set ourselves up for not feeling like we have it. And then that creates a space for an excuse. Well, I just don't have the self-discipline for it. No, that's a bunch of BS. It's a bunch of BS that we've created in our minds. Getting up at 5 a.m. is just a choice I make every day. And what's so cool about that is there's no superpower or skill involved. It's just a choice that absolutely anyone can make. You don't need to be rich or poor or live in a certain place or have a certain nothing. You don't have to be male or female or a mom or not a mom or what. None of that. It's just a choice. So I get up at 5 a.m. and do my workout. That's a choice. I choose to eat healthy food instead of not so healthy food because it's a choice. There's not emotion attached to it. It's just simply a choice. And if we can remove the emotion from so much of what we do, we will remove so much of the stress and negative energy that we create ourselves. We create all that. And then we wonder why we feel, junky or defeated or whatever. We've created all that in our head. So what I'm encouraging you to do today, and very intentionally every day, take emotion out of the equation. Stop thinking about your life in terms of motivation or discipline or inspiration or any of that, and start thinking about life in terms of choices. And how can you string together a series of choices every day, and even take it back to every hour? How can you string together a series of choices every hour, every day, every week, every month, to create this life that you want to create intentionally, on purpose, rather than attaching a lot of negative energy to stuff you think you should be doing, but then you just end up not, and then feeling bad about yourself? Just make a choice. I am not any smarter, any creative, any more disciplined or motivated or whatever than the next person. I just make series of choices every day that lead to a life I want to create on purpose. And you can do that too. Anyone can do that. Today and every day, I want you to think about your life in terms of choice. Take the words discipline and motivation and all that stuff out of your vocabulary when it comes to thinking about actions and habits, and simply think of them as a series of choices. String together as many positive choices as you can, and you will create the life that you want to create on purpose.